Norway, where you can turn back the meter in a legal manner, of course, if you sell the surplus energy. Well, first and foremost, we have to deal with the reluctance of the Latvenergo to connect anybody, any power producers to the current networks, because the attitude of the Latvenergo towards the biomass and smaller power stations and smaller hydropower stations has always been very, very neglecting and neglectful, and they have always rejected the possibility to connect these small producers to the network, and the costs they are applying, or the price they're applying, is very high. So would you say we need legislation obliging the Latvenergo to buy from the small hydropower stations? Well, not what should be considered the small power station. Everybody, who's producing with solar panels? No, not with solar panels. I mean, the connection costs are also quite high, but that's, the uncle's problem. I mean, the ones who has the solar panel. But what you're saying is that, from a certain size you can become a market player. With a certain size you can become a market player. I think so, but I can't really give you the size of the power station at the moment. We're not only talking about the government assistance in the form of subsidies. I don't know why you're only talking about the subsidies as the only option for that. It's not the only kind of the state assistance available. We can also assist as a government to investment, and quite many municipalities have used this option. Behind many municipalities that are at the moment heating their small cities and villages by means of timber, specifically. Well, there are not so many of them. Well, the only large city that is heated with the timber is Kuldīga. Well, yes, but there are some settlements. And there are quite favorable regulations. Yes, the EU funding, the national co-funding and everything. Yeah, that's all nice. So for them, to transfer from fuel oil or coal, it's okay to have an efficient boiler houses fueled by timber, and there are quite many with them. Yes, and we had just recently Kraslava shifting. And there is the main concern. The national policy has to be friendly towards this type of energy so as to avoid a situation where, for example, inhabitants in Ķegums municipality are agreeing to this affair. So, say, instead of opting for the gas boiler house, they are using the wood chip, and it is cheaper. And that should be the stimulus that should turn the other municipalities to shift over. And let's see whether you have stepped yourself on a mine. What do you say about us exporting the wood chip? Should we apply any quotas or export fees? And one young guy here among the listeners had that the Swedes are buying the wood chip 3 times cheaper than we are buying ourselves. I don't know really whether we can trust him, but the idea that we are exporting majority of the wood chip that we produce instead of just using it for the heating as a fuel is clear. And as Mr. Zelinsky said, we should step off the dependence of these, somehow avoid the dependence on the Russian fuel. So the wood chip should be retained, so the wood chip price would go down. Municipalities would be interested to use the wood chip to fuel their boiler houses. Is that a good idea? Well, first of all, we would then have to go out of the European Union because we would go against the European Union procedures. However, on our domestic market, we should use all the opportunities that have been opening up to us: wood chips, these pallets. And there are local producers producing the boilers that can be fueled by these, and those are local producers, so there could be quite many benefits to that. Well, once again, on the wood chip, just briefly, on the wood chip again. In Riga, the majority of thermal power stations will never shift to wood chip, from the point of view of logistics. Yes, but at the moment they are using the peat, and it's a lot dirtier than the wood chip. If we don't believe, look at Kuldīga, they were able to demolish 17 small boiler houses and build one centralized boiler house fueled by wood chip. What is Kuldīga compared to Riga thermal power station, but what is the whole Latvia compared to Chinese city? Yeah, but we have to prepare the infrastructure first and foremost. For me to get from Mežparks to Sigulda, at the point when the wood chip is transported to thermal power station is impossible. I would have to walk or fly in a helicopter. The roads would be overloaded. Well, thank you for the argument. Mr. Zelenskis, please. Well, to reach not only the highest levels that are being offered by us or by the Saskaņas, another political party here, and to meet the commitments that the government has made with respect to renewables, we have to shift all the large cities to wood chip. All, well, in Riga not to 100%, but partly at least. We could use 120 to 200 megawatt hours. Well, in percentage, what would that be? I would say it's a third. And technologically and from the logistics point of view, that would be an easy transition. But let me give you another example. I have had a talk with one of the companies here, and they're about to launch a plant that will prepare the dry wood chip, the wood chip with lower humidity level. The lower the humidity level, the higher the efficiency in the combustion process the wood chip would have. And so they are offering small city or a single building with quite large consumption for a settlement, in other words. They're offering to install a combustion tank based on leasing principle. So they would install it, sign the leasing agreement. They could also conclude the agreement with the providers or suppliers of raw material, and the tariff could depend then on the capacity of the tank. You know, the higher the capacity, the lower the tariff. And what would be the benefit in the present situation? Well, the benefit would be that with this development, the price for the megawatt hour would be significantly lower than with the same than with the current heating system based on fossil or low efficiency wood, firewood. So we have a question from the internet, and Anit is about to read it. From which webpage does it come? It comes from Ieelpa webpage, and Jakobs is writing. He would like to hear your view on the use of wave energy or ocean or water energy, and he would like you to respond. Do you believe in it? Do you support it? Or do you believe and don't support it? Or you don't believe and don't support it? So, give us clearly, basically 2 words. So is Jakobs informed that we don't have an ocean in Latvia? But otherwise, it's okay, to use the energy generated by the ocean waves or sea waves as we're being just shortly. Well, our plan, along with use of wind energy, solar energy, and biomass, we are planning to use also the geothermal energy, but we are not planning to use the wave energy or sea energy. Let's not laugh about Jakobs. He was meaning most probably not the ocean, but the Baltic Sea. Well, I don't believe that in Baltic Sea. Well, it's too shallow in your opinion? No, it's just too small. But you know what we are talking about. Yes, I do. I am aware of that. In UK, they are looking into this idea. In the Northern Sea, they are looking to this idea, but there the waves are having different force. Zelenskis, please. Well, at the moment, these technologies have not been tested for practical application, but that, of course, does not exclude further research in this area. Another, very mildly stupid question. What are the green jobs that everybody is talking about? And the green guy, as he's calling itself, is saying, let's paint everything in green, let's start living green then. Can you explain what we mean by green jobs, essentially? What does that mean? You promised us many green jobs. What are those? Are those the construction material producers that would also be considered as green jobs creators? Yes, by meaning green jobs, we also think about the affiliated sectors, construction and any other sectors. By green jobs, we mean all the sectors that are related to the environmental protection. As a result of creation green jobs, we could have, for example, higher energy independence from the fossil fuel providers or suppliers. So, but that's what we mean. So that would be sort of the idea behind green jobs. Do you have your own definition for green jobs? Well, let me refrain from commenting that because I didn't use this term. No, we are not accusing anybody, but the guy just wanted to know what you mean by green jobs. Maybe a janitor who's just picking up leaves also is a green job. Yeah, if he's composting them, then yes. Well, we hope that he's composting, not burning them. Mr. Zelenskis, please. Yes, if we look into the internet, if you just Google it, and you will see that there is a line of definitions in European documents and various research documents and papers that are very